What's going on? I am Dope, your idiot leader, and today I'm going to show you something dark and twisted. Shocker, right? We like dark stuff on this channel. If you haven't noticed, it's full of dark stuff. We got comics that, not only are they dark and horror, we got comics that have been owned by people that commit suicides and crazy shit. And we got covers I show on here of just crazy controversial covers of stuff people didn't know existed. And we do pre-code horror where there's heads chopped off and thrown in down sewers. And, we got people having sex with dead bodies in these old horror magazines. There's crazy shit everywhere. Everywhere. And it's all the way up to moderns. And I like to show stuff like that because you're not going to find it on any other channel. And today we got a doozy. I've got a book today that came out not too long ago. I mean, the book today we're showing came out in 1997, and they would never make it today. 1997 wasn't that long ago, but the book I'm going to show today would never, ever be made in today's time. Am I weird because I like dark stuff? Are you weird because you watch this channel? Nah. I mean, horror movies is $1 billion business. I mean, horror movies are just as popular as romantic movies or comedies or anything else. And I know perfectly normal people that watch horror movies. I know CEOs of $1 million companies, and their wife has a white picket fence and the golden retriever and the boy and girl and everything she could ever want, but she's a horror fan. You wouldn't expect it of them kind of people. I remember growing up, being in daycare and wanting to watch Scooby-Doo instead of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends like everybody else. I was drawn to the horror. I remember 1985 when I was 7 years old, and my big sisters brought home, they had a sleepover, and they brought home a little movie called Nightmare on Elm Street. And I remember watching it, and I remember 1987 when I was 10 years old and just couldn't get enough of Monster Squad and Lost Boys. It's just something you're born with. Why do people go to theme parks? Why do people pay money to go through horror houses? Because if I go to a haunted house at Halloween time to pay money, I want to be scared. That's fun. If people's riding on a damn wooden roller coaster, they're scared. They pay people to scare them. I remember I get into psychology a lot. I think that's why I like Hulk so much. It's deep thinking. And, I see toddlers jump out and scare their parents. And their parents act scared. And the toddler just starts laughing their head off. They think it's funny. I mean, there's something about scaring somebody. There's something about the dark side. I remember being a kid and going to Video Vision, our local VHS movie rental as a kid. And there's that one aisle you're not supposed to go down, the horror aisle. You got to be over 18 to rent that shit. And me being 7, 10 years old, I loved everything down that aisle. Yeah, there was naked girls like Slumber Party Massacre and Driller Killer and all this kind of stuff with girls with lingerie on the covers, but it wasn't about the sex. Because I also love stuff like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Leatherface and all that kind of stuff. It's just something you're born with to like dark stuff, and there's nothing wrong with it. Stephen King sells the hell out of some novels. I know a lot of crazy, just regular looking people that read Stephen King books. So there's nothing wrong with it. But, there's normal people just like there's crazy people of every kind of genre. But the book we're going to talk about today came out in 1997. And this book can be found in dollar bins. People skip by it every day because they don't know the what's inside the cover. The book was put out by David Lloyd. And let me tell you, David Lloyd, the way you wrote this book, is you're a genius, you're an artist. An artist is somebody that makes you feel a certain way. It don't have to be a good feeling. It ain't always rainbows and butterflies. An artist can be a producer of a movie, can be somebody that produces a music video, somebody that produces music, somebody that writes music. It can be somebody that does paintings. It can be somebody that writes a story. There's all kinds of different forms of artist and art. But a good artist makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel the way they're trying to get you to feel. And like I said, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. I can look at a painting or watch a horror movie and I feel sick in my stomach. And that's what that artist is trying to get over to you. And job well done. Job accomplished. That's a great artist. A great artist makes you feel emotional in some way. And David Lloyd made me feel emotional when I read this book. The way it's set up, this is one of the only comics I've read that I could see in movie form. Maybe it's because it's happened so many times here in America. And what I'm talking about is Active Shooters. This is Weird Horror Tales, number 2 of 4. It came out Vertigo. This is 1997, Weird Horror Tales. You can find this thing in just any dollar bin, and you wouldn't think anything of it. But if you just open it up, the first story will blow your dick off. You're like, how could they even write this shit? In today's time, it'd never get wrote. If you even went to somebody like DC or Marvel and said, I want to write a book about an active shooter, they'd probably fire you. But the way it's set up, the narration's done by a woman that is doing an exercise video. And she's doing the narration, and she's like, it's a lovely sunny day here at Ocean Beach. And then it shows a picture. And you see this picture of this dude with muscles doing push-ups. And you see jets around, and you see army stuff and skull, all kinds of army stuff hanging on the walls. He's got this, in the background, this big helicopter picture. Be a high flyer with the armed forces. So here he is. First thing he does is wake up in the morning and doing push-ups. And, he walks through his mama's house because he's still living with mama. That's another sign of an active shooter. And it says, here's the woman on TV doing the aerobics and says, let's get our day started. The first thing you do, if the first thing you do is wake up and do push-ups and you don't go to work, the first thing you do is go target shooting at some range, some gun range, you probably need to worry about your kid. If they wake up, do push-ups, want to be in the Army and they're not, and they have lots of guns, and they do push-ups, and they want to be Army, and they wear Army clothes even though they're not in the Army, and they love to go target shooting, chances are you might need to worry about them. If you got a 40-year-old man living at the house, here he is shooting targets at the target range, and that might be your first sign. And then what does he do? He goes to the U.S. recruiter, where I take it. This is part of the genius of the book. It don't tell you. But I guess he's been turned down a couple of times because he does not like the U.S. recruiters. So he goes in there and kills the U.S. recruiters. First place he shoots up is the U.S. recruiters place. And then right here, as you follow along the narration, when you do this, you can feel every muscle. You can feel the blood cruising through your veins. So it goes right along with the story, even though it's a creepy narration of something else. After he kills everybody at the U.S. recruiter, it looks like he used to work at a hardware store because he goes in and kills everybody at the hardware store. So active shooter is running through town, killed everybody at the U.S. recruiter. Then he killed everybody at the hardware store. And, he's mad at the world and he's taking out all his aggression. Last, he goes down to the barbershop where they cut his Army haircut for this guy that's not even in the Army. They give him the old Army buzz. And he kills everybody at the barbershop. So then after he does that, he goes home and kills mama. He's not happy with mama. Maybe that bitch made him the way he is. I don't know. But a lot of times these people as active shooters probably do have trouble at home. But he goes home and kills his mom. And then he starts headed towards the U.S. Army base. And then, of course, you got the narration over here. The woman saying, yes, the day has started. Now let's get what we deserve. I don't know what he's wanting, but he's driving towards the Army base. He's got helicopters following him, all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to show you how it ends, but you can imagine how it would end if one guy with 2 rifles was to pull up at Army base. But this book here is very graphic. Be found in the dollar bin. Would never come out in a day's time. If you're into crazy stuff like this, I've got books like this. I've got books with crazy covers on them. New books that are real controversial to do, like the Denver shooting of the active shooter that shot up Denver's theater and I got Joker covers where he's shooting up a theater, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. Of course, your Lady Cop story, everybody knows it, about how it's based around a true serial killer story, and it was frowned upon. Lots of crazy books I like in my collection, but this is a dark book that you can find for probably $1 in your dollar bins. Weird War Tales, number 2 of 4 from 1997, written by David Lloyd. I like it. What can I say? If you like this kind of stuff and you want to look for weird, cheap stuff that's really cool, on this channel we show all kinds of dark stuff. It ain't only comics. We got MASH for days and horror posters, and I like Nintendo games, and we do VHS stuff on here. Anything dark and horror, I'm into, man. So, hope you like this story. I was talking about you could find this in a dollar bin. I found it for 49 cents. So, look, they're giving them away. You wouldn't know it by the cover because the cover sucks so bad on this book. But anyway, until the next time, read your comics. That's the only way you're going to find out what's in them. Read your comics.